All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Ryan Redman here. Thanks for joining. We talked about this at one of our recent dealer meetings that some of you were at, and wanted to just kind of do a recap and introduce it to everybody who couldn't be there or was outside of the group. But we through our wholesale retail business have been looking for alternatives to contact customers, communicate with them for many years. As a lot of you guys know, customers, are difficult to get on the phone these days, and a lot of people are texting, using social media, email, all the above. We've looked high and low for a way to communicate with people through automation, and use services like Marlamar, manual texting through cell phones, and even systems through Lead Perfection that do one-off kind of text messaging as well. And what we found is they're very cumbersome and took a lot of maintenance to work those programs. So through a lot of research and development, we finally got with a company who was eager to work with us and develop a system that would actually work for our industry. And that company is Hatch. They're on the line with us. We've been working together for about 6 months through various channels, and various dealers have been using the program. And long and short of it is they've got a platform that consists of a series of boards that you can use for all assets in your business and all departments. And really where they've excelled with us is putting together a program where we can actually integrate with Lead Perfection, which isn't always easy because they don't really have an open API. These guys have went out of their way to find ways to do it through automation so that it can pull customer data every day and send messages based on cues that you set up to your customers. So this can be everything from contacting customers that you couldn't get a hold of on the phone to set appointments, to confirmation, to rehash, and then all the way through the funnel in the production department to let people know the status of their jobs as those statuses change within Lead Perfection as well. So we've already put all these systems in place with them, and they've got it up and running to where it can integrate with Lead Perfection very easily, which many of you use. If you don't use Lead Perfection, they can work on integration with your CRM as well. So long and short of it is the contact rate through text messaging opportunities is much higher than this through call center. I mean, we're getting 60 to 70% response rates on this and contacting people that we just could never get on the phone. So just want to preface it, before I turn it over to them, that it's been a huge success. It's kind of a game changer. It's the future of, call center. We kind of see messaging centers kind of being part of that system down the road because, people just don't answer the phones. So with that being said, we have one of the founders of the company, Chris, on the line, and then Matt Miner as well will be hosting. And I'll just turn it over to you guys and let you explain the program and go through how it works.
Ryan, that's awesome. I appreciate the intro. I couldn't have said it better myself, man. So I appreciate all the shout outs and just being honest about sort of how we've grown with you over the past 6 months. Really, really cool. Guys, my sort of agenda today is broken up into really 3 parts. One is I want to give you guys a brief history of the company because I think origin stories are really, really cool and give you an idea of who we are and where we come from and the love that we have for home improvement companies. 2 is I want to show you the actual product as it's being used so that you have an idea of the power that it can drive and get the authentic responses from your customers. And at the end, what we realized early on is nothing is more powerful than folks taking it for a free test drive. So at the very end, just want to introduce you guys to a landing page you can go to and actually try and see if it works for your business. So that's my agenda today. It's pretty simple. If we want to, I want to start with the origin story, just a little bit about Hatch and where we started. So our company started in 2015, and actually a buddy of ours who owns Pella Windows and Doors of Virginia came to us when I was working in corporate America and said, man, we have a major problem in my home improvement business. We've got a bunch of different challenges, but one of them is that our close rates, hover at like 35%, which in Pat's mind, he was thinking, what's happening with the other 7 out of 10 people that aren't buying, but they raised their hand and said they wanted a window and door. And so we were like, that's so interesting. Let's go try to tackle that. And so our background was engineering and technology. So we built a couple of pieces of technology. And long story short, in 60 days, we sold $400,000 in window and door sales, doing traditionally, I guess, what in the industry is called revisits, re-engineering or rehash. That's where we started. And when that hit us in the face, we were like, oh my gosh, there's an opportunity to help home improvement companies across the country maximize the opportunities that they're already paying for and get more money out of the deals they're already paying for. If you can take 35% close rate, which by the way, now Pat, who owns Pella Windows, now runs at about a 44% close rate, that like 10 or 8 points for him is a couple $1 million a year. And that means a lot to his organization. And so we started a company and that's the origin story. So it's not quite as cool as Iron Man's origin story, but I still think it's pretty cool because $400,000 in 60 days was an impact. So that's where we started, and we've been growing ever since. And really, our heart lies with home improvement companies. We want to help you guys communicate with your customers better at every facet. But we realized it came down to 2 things. One was outbound messaging, and Ryan nailed it, right? Especially text messaging, social, all that stuff is the future. Outbound messaging is the key. But the other key is automation. Connecting with your CRM and having automatic things happen for 2 reasons. One is you guys are busy. Home improvement companies are extremely busy doing so many other things. And 2 is inevitably because the business model is I got to see 2 to 3 appointments a day per rep. Reps don't do a great job of following up because they've got to worry about the next 3 tomorrow and the next 3 the day after that and the next 3 after that. Then somebody else has to take it over and call and get things scheduled. And then somebody has to then call and do AR and get accounts receivable for 20% of the bill. And so like there's this whole sort of messaging ecosystem that if it can be automated appropriately using messaging, you can increase your close rate and your cash flow. So that's what we learned and that's what we built. Fast forward a couple years later, we are, we're growing, but and more importantly, we're here to stay. We've got some major investment from some pretty big names, Sequoia Capital, NextView. These are the same people that helped build Google, YouTube, Airbnb, Dropbox. And so we're here to stay and we really want to help the industry. That's our goal. And so we really handle 5 things really well. And Ryan nailed them. So I'm just going to show you guys a visual of them really quick. One is web SMS chat. We've taken web chat and we've made it mobile only. Some of you guys may already use this in the business. We just added an automated piece to it. It's about 47% more effective than traditional web chat and allows you to capture the mobile device of the visitor to your website. You'll never lose them again. 2 is lead engagement. We use a technology called webhooks that allows you to automatically and instantly engage with things like Home Advisor, web forms, anything. And we talk to your CRM, so you're not going to lose that data. But it's about speed to lead. That's what lead engagement means. Sales follow-up. Some call it revisit, some call it re-engineering, a dirty words rehash. But it's really about following up with a customer. And I got some data I'm going to share with you guys that is absolutely fascinating that we've taken from about 250 companies about how quickly you should be doing this. So regardless today, if you ever partner with Hatch or not, you'll walk away with some data that's interesting for your business. The 4th thing is customer engagement. Guys, this is post-sale. I mean, this is about scheduling installations, how quickly you can do that. One of my favorite stories is, we work with a bath expo out of Texas that if they got a pallet of goods in, let's say that's like 40 customers, it used to take them 3 weeks to schedule that. It now takes them 3 hours. Use automation and messaging to do that, and then you don't get the complaints of, oh, I thought you were supposed to come today at 2 o'clock. I took off work. And it's all in a text message thread that you have complete visibility to. So it's fascinating. And then the last thing is customer reviews and feedback. So we do these 5 things really, really well for home improvement companies. And if you can think about it, go to the next slide there, Matt. If you can think about it, the 3 things we really want to help you guys with. One is increase your win rate. If you can go from a sales close rate of 30 or 40 to 45 or 50, even those 4 or 5 points, the ROI is incredible. 2 is we want to improve your visibility as a business owner or marketing manager or call center director, so you can see all these conversations in these different workspaces and boards that Ryan was talking about. And 3 is improve customer reviews and satisfaction, right? If you can get in front of those issues, address them, and get more reviews, you're going to do better. And right now we're finding that a lot of companies are using a hodgepodge of different things, and none of it's working as well as they originally intended. And so that's what is exciting about building this thing with Ryan. If you go to the next one here, I want to talk about, this is really good content. 3 secrets to mastering rehash. Whether or not you use us or not, I think this is interesting, and I want to talk about. First one is you have to use messaging, and you need to be able to give a customer a way to authentically respond to you. And we found that text message really, really does that. So if today your goal is to go, hey, I want to increase my close rate, it's 35%, I want to get to 40, implement messaging immediately. Start making a part of your process as you communicate with your customers. 9 out of 10 people, Salesforce.com data, say they want to have a 2-way message with a business. It allows them to give the truth of why they didn't move forward, whether it's financing, whether it's the reps smell like cigarettes, whether it's they never got a quote. You'll get all that feedback, and messaging allows you to do that, especially text. Number 2, and most important, is, you want to go to the next one here? Thanks. Personalize your conversation with your prospects. Ryan mentioned this. Our integration with your CRM allows you to take all the data that happened on that appointment and put it into the message seamlessly. You only have to click a button, and you guys can send messages like this one here that says, hey, Jeff, it's Sarah here with let's just say Bath Expo. Last Tuesday, we discussed your front door project. We talked about Walnut, and we quoted you at 950. Wanted to know how you thought about that and how you're moving forward with your project. So you've taken all these data points, very, very personalized. We call it hyper personalization. Now somebody can get back to you and tell you the truth. Hey, $950 for a door seems high. Didn't want to tell my rep because I like the guy. And you can take those messages, and then I'll show you in a minute in the product where we can air traffic control that and get it to the correct reps in the field if it's appropriate. And then the last thing, guys, that is super important that we found out, so no matter what, is create multiple touch points. And this is where I think with Ryan, where it starts to become very, very different than everybody else, is that we can reach 50 people at once. And if they don't respond, we can continue to reach out to them appropriately. So it's about using automation and what we call smart campaigns, where on day 1, you might send a text to 30 people because that's how many people were seen in your organization yesterday that did not buy. 20 respond, the other 10 continue to get touch points for the next 20 days. And that's worked really, really well in terms of getting almost everybody to give you feedback on every single appointment or scheduling installations or getting customer reviews. So very, very important. And this next piece of data, it'll be the last part that I talk about here. Very interesting. This is data you guys can implement right now in your business. This is what we've sort of coined the term 48-hour rule of revisits, re-engineering, and rehash, which is essentially we took 200 companies and we tracked engagement rate over 7 days. All that means is if I send 100 people a message to get feedback on why they didn't buy, how many people actually responded back to us? What we found is that over 70% of those responses really happen in the first 3 days or 48 hours after the customer gets seen. After that, responses drop off dramatically. So if you're thinking about a re-engineering program for your business, regardless how you solve it, think about it in terms of when are people actually going to talk to me? And that's going to happen really 2 to 3 days after they originally have been seen. After that, they're getting other quotes, they've moved on, things have come up in the business. So if you want that authentic feedback, what we found is the companies that are really moving their close rate from, that 30 to 35 or 35 to 40 or 40 to 42 are really uniformed in their timing when reaching out to customers to get that feedback, and then getting the rep back involved appropriately while they've also moved on to the next deal. So thinking about next and just talking to you guys about the next thing, I want to show you guys the product. Matt, if you can jump into the product really quick, just to give these guys a quick 5-minute crash course on what Hatch looks like and how you can use it inside your organization, that'd be great. Awesome. So really quick, without jumping into too much data, guys, this is what we call a Hatch board. This is a rehash or a revisit Hatch board. And all this really is are inbound messages from customers in a funnel that allows you to automate every step of the way. And it keeps visibility and accountability for your entire organization. And it keeps the thread all in one place. So I want to show you a good example of what that means. So imagine that there is a campaign set up in the background that has multiple touch points, and you can automate that outreach to many customers at one time. That's how Ryan handles it in his organization and does very, very well. And that message says, in this case, hi, Michelle, this is a customer specialist, Kohler. I saw you at a consultation recently, and we just wanted to see how things are progressing. This is somebody that was quoted in May of 2019 and got lost. I mean, how many of those do we have in our database? A ton. There is money to be had, but you got to talk to these customers and get an authentic reason of why they didn't move forward. In this case, Sherry, the customer, if you can highlight that there, Matt, got back and said, yes, I'd love to talk. Which works best for you, morning or afternoon? We can then get back on our cell phone or on their desktop, depending on your organization. Afternoon tomorrow works best. Great, got it. Call you then. Through our platform, which is more than text messages, actually voice, email. We have voicemail drop that's coming as well as social. The customer ends up calling back, and we're able to go back and forth with the customer. Then they go away, and this happens all the time, guys, right? They go silent for a little bit. We're able to use automation that picks up on that and sends a message and says, hey, are you still in the market? The customer said yes. They ended up scheduling an appointment for 6 p.m., got them back on the books. This ended up going from something that was not a sale to a sale using messaging and automation. And guys, I'm giving you a very high level view of what we call a message thread through multiple teammates, and I'll show you team selling in a minute, so that you guys get a good idea of how this messaging is so powerful. And a lot of folks are trying to solve this today, like I think Ryan nailed it, one-to-one, which is too cumbersome. They're trying to use complex and robust things inside of their CRM that just don't solve the problem and give you flexibility you need to make changes quickly. So you're seeing this thread or this conversation is going back and forth. So I wanted to show that in context. This is a real life conversation. I want to jump, if you can, Matt, to a demo board just to show how I want to show in real time how we can take a conversation that comes in. Imagine waking up in the morning and you getting notifications of 10 interested customers that want to talk about why they didn't move forward, and it could be anything from financing to the quote, them not getting the quote. You can actually take these conversations and distribute them almost like an air traffic controller to your reps, or have them directly go to your reps based on what's appropriate for your business. So I want to show you that real quick, and then the webinar is just about wrapped up. Great, I'm seeing the board. This is awesome. So what you guys are seeing here is an inbound column of all the messages that are coming in. The blue notification there, if you guys are looking at the screen, shows an inbound message that says, hey, do you have any specials going on? Open that card for me. So you can see automation went out to this customer. And they sell windows, doors, baths, roofs. They do a lot of stuff at this home improvement company. And the customer was interested in windows and said, hey, I am interested in windows. Do you have any specials going on? So in this case, an air traffic controller that's in charge of this is the front office person, knows that only Bill can really answer this question. So go ahead and respond back to this, Matt, and say, yeah, let me get you in touch with Bill, our sales manager. He knows all about the specials and can schedule a time with you in home. So you guys are seeing on the screen, we're typing right here inside of the card. Go ahead and send that message. Now move that customer's card directly to Bill's workspace. So guys, if you see on the space here, oh, getting laggy. There you go. We can actually send that directly to Bill, the sales manager. Send it to his inbound column, please. Yep. And now, yep, didn't send it to the inbound column. Now that message gets sent to Bill's cell phone. Bill will then be able to respond directly to the customer and pick up inside the messaging thread. Now, what's interesting about this is that we have hierarchy and permissions where owners can see everything, sales managers can see what they need to see, and reps can only see what they need to see. But this is modern messaging and team selling at its best. You can send messages directly to your managers and reps and get them involved where appropriate. We even have folks using this to do things like getting finance people involved, depending if you have a contact center. You may have a situation where you don't want your reps to handle this and you want specific revisit teams to handle it. So we've got many different scenarios that fit depending on the size of your organization. Thanks, Matt. We got it now. So it's in there. And then you can see where, yeah, let me get you in touch with the sales manager still in the thread. Now Bill's going to get pinged on his cell phone. He can jump right in and take care of the customer and tell them about specials, discounts, and get it actually scheduled. And again, this interacts with your CRM. So no matter what you're using, we talk back and forth and try to make it as seamless as possible. So really, guys, this is the product and how it works. I don't want to spend too much time on it because most of the time what I've noticed through webinars is that people start thinking about, well, how does this work in my business? What do campaigns really mean? What starts campaigns, and how can I expect this to work in my business, because it's probably different than other businesses. So to wrap up this webinar really quick, I wanted to end on this last sort of presentation slide and tell you guys about what Hatch is doing, because Ryan has teamed up and partnered with us. We are actually offering Hatch for free until you sell your first $1,000 at minimum worth of product. A lot of companies are not willing to put their money where their mouth is, and we want to do that for you guys because we see this work really, really quickly and frankly, really, really fast. All you have to do, and we'll send out this information to Ryan afterwards and also in email form, is go to freerehash.com. It's that simple. Once you go to freerehash.com, the instructions are there to set a time to talk to one of our account executives about how to get it tested in your business to find out if it's a right fit for you. And so no matter your use case or how you're thinking about it, we can help customize that very, very quickly. We'll give you the product. You can run with it, use it in your organization. Worst case scenario that we've seen from this, you at least set a couple of appointments. Best case, and one of my favorite stories is we had a roofer who sells roofs in West Palm Beach. They sold a $780,000 commercial job from a free follow-up campaign with us. And it's one of my favorite stories because they thought that thing was dead for 6 months. And after talking to them, they got re-engaged and were able to close that deal in 60 days. And it was interesting, and paid for it for probably 7 years. So that's really it. Ryan, if you're still on, if you have any closing comments, man, that's the webinar.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris. And, everybody on the call, I mean, bottom line is, from a nationwide standpoint, generating leads for the wholesale business or whether it's in your retail business, doesn't matter. I mean, leads are expensive. The value of those leads is huge. And we kind of look at this like an opportunity to sell more business without spending more money. Not really having to go out and just keep generating more and more leads. Let's find a way to cultivate and, get more business from the leads you've already got. Even get referrals, nurture your customers throughout the process more, keep more business, rehash more, save more, do all of the above. So, I've been looking for something like this for years. I don't even know really how I came across these guys, just kind of got lucky, I guess. But it's been, perfect for what we've been looking for. And I think, it'll benefit everybody on the call as well. So, Chris has never really done a free trial thing like this before. I kind of talked him into it. So take advantage of it. It's worth a shot, and see what you can do. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Like I said, we've got about 6 months experience with these guys, and it's been very successful. So everybody's got my number. You're welcome to call me anytime, and we'll go from there. All I can say is, thanks for the help, Chris, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to put on this webinar.
Of course. Thank you, Ryan. We'll send up some follow-up stuff just for everybody and some free content too. So no matter what, you can implement some cool stuff in your business. So thanks, guys. Appreciate everybody. Ryan, really appreciate you.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you.